Hello, my name is Jim Liu. I'm the owner of SEO Vendor, an agency that helps other agencies. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to go over something very special called Predictive SEO. It's one of those topics that evades a lot of agencies as to exactly what is it about. But today I'm going to go over that with you. I have discovered along the way in the last 4 years since our agency started to utilize AI technology and how it has helped other agencies do very well in SEO rankings. One of the topics that I want to talk about today has to do with something called branch prediction AI. Now, you may not be familiar with branch prediction, and I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. So imagine today that in order to rank, you have to make decisions. You're making decisions about your SEO, whether if it has to do with analytics or whether it has to do with what actions you're going to take next. That all is going to turn into what then you are predicting your results are going to be. And one of the key points here is that you're actually predicting what your results are going to be, and nobody actually knows what their results are going to be until after you have made a decision and executed that SEO decision, and based on that then observed what the actual results are going to be. So because of that, today we're going to be going through and talking about branch prediction, which is exactly that. Branch prediction is what every SEO agency, every SEO analyst goes through in order to make a decision about what actions and decisions they're going to go through and what road they're going to go down and what results those are going to turn out to be. Now, some of those results are going to be good. Some of those results aren't going to be so good. The idea here is that you're able to then come to a conclusion whether you're going to go with, say, decision A. Let's say if you're going to produce more content for your website, or decision B, perhaps you're going to optimize your title tags, and that's the next thing you're going to do. Or even if you're optimizing your title tags, what exactly are you going to do in that? That's going to make the most sense. Do you put the keyword in the title tag itself, or are you going to, say, for example, focus more on branding and have the titles appear more naturally for Google to pick them up? What decision do you make that's actually going to matter the most in order to help you rank the keywords that you want to make? What we found is that in actuality, all of these decisions, whether they're good or bad, or they lead to absolutely no change at all for your rankings, is that it comes down to just being a probability. And it comes down to making a wager against the type of results you wish to have versus the type of results that are unexpected, because sometimes we do get unexpected results, and when those unexpected results happen, we're surprised, or we try to go back and figure out what then to do next about those rankings. So this type of decision making allows us to then figure out what really is the right path for us to go down. And sometimes that takes a lot of figuring out. You got to branch across maybe multiple decisions until you realize, okay, I got to back up. Or you realize, like, okay, so far so good, but perhaps it only takes one decision, one small mistake to then undo a lot of those changes that have been made over the past few months, and that can be very detrimental. We have to imagine that you got to do a lot of analysis. You have to perhaps analyze not only how the rankings are doing from month to month, but you're also analyzing what, say, SEMrush or what other analytics tools are telling you in order to get the best results possible. But all this analysis also means one other thing, which is that as you're, say, studying all the different say keyword density, and here you're studying duplicate content, and then you're trying to put everything together, it adds a lot of time to that analysis as well. And you only have so much time in a day. And if you're an agency, you've got multiple projects, and perhaps you only have so much resources on a particular project. So you're very limited on how much time you can actually spend on a project. And most agencies that I have talked to have this problem. Basically, time equals money. And the more time that you're spending on a project, actually the less amount you're able to really make for that project, because it's taken up all your time, or it's consuming so much time on you that you don't have time to then take on new projects, or you don't have the time for your SEO analyst to work on other projects that also matter. And this analysis problem actually we had at SEO Vendor as well, which is the agency that I'm the CEO of. We found out that what has been happening since, at least for us, since 2010, is that our ability to analyze projects and be able to move on was becoming more and more of a burden. So we went from somewhere around taking around 1 to 2 hours in order to do the analysis, the SEO research, making decisions, to in 2018 we were spending somewhere around 6-7 hours on just one project, and it was incredibly time consuming. I mean, in order to go through that, we had to think about, well, what's the latest Google updates out there? We had to consider everything from your Penguin updates, your Panda updates, and then everything else after that. In addition to that, we also had to then take all that information and then go through the analysis and run it through multiple analysis tools, and then after that also do our own weighing and comparison in order to come to some type of conclusion to say, okay, this is a set of things that we think we should do. And even at that point, it's still just a guess. We're not really 100%, and I don't think anybody can be until you look at the ranking results based on what you actually did and say, okay, you know what, this is based on, after I have analyzed 20 other competitors, this is based on what information that I've been able to glean from watching other YouTube videos and reading all this text on use cases, and this is also what the tools are telling me, and so all of this is adding up. And even just to make a decision, sometimes you have to have meetings and decide as a group, what's the right direction for a project. Do you do A? Do you do B? Do you do C? Do you do D? So we realized that this was going to be a problem for not only our agency, but also because we're a white label vendor. All the agencies that rely on our services were also going to be in trouble. And especially if a lot of the ranking performances are depending on this kind of information, then it means that basically all their projects are also at risk. And so we had to come up with a solution fast. Now at the time, AI was really picking up, and we decided to really look into how AI can help us as a company, and especially in the area of data analysis. And this is where we came upon a type of AI called neural networks, which is a model of AI that's designed to kind of mimic how our brains work. So our brains have synapses, which I won't go into too much details in this video, but basically you can imagine synapses learn based on what patterns they see, what patterns they recognize, and this is all based on input data, and it produces some type of output. Then that basically means that it's come to some kind of conclusion based on those inputs. So when we looked at this and we studied it and we decided to implement AI into our analysis, this changed the picture dramatically. And what it did was that it turned those 6-7 hours of analysis back down to what we had in 2010, which was 8 years prior, and we were just only taking about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to complete an analysis. And the reason for that is because the analysis, it didn't change a whole lot. What really actually happened was that it was the AI that was helping us to formulate a lot of those conclusions so that the team can come to quicker decision making, and also, I would say, more accurate decision making. So if you liked what we talked about today, we're going to continue our conversation in the next segment. If you liked this video, please go ahead and subscribe and like, and we'll see you in the next one.